The first Mortal Kombat 2 trailer gave us everything. Yep, it confirmed every single leak we've seen so far. Just to give you some context, like pretty much every major Hollywood movie, Mortal Kombat 2 was shown a few months ago in a test screening, so people could watch it and give feedback, whether it was good, bad, whatever. That's a pretty standard thing in the film industry. The catch is, even with contracts and NDAs meant to keep everything secret, there's always someone who ends up spilling the beans, right? And that's exactly what happened here. Several key plot points got leaked. Apparently, someone who attended that test screening told someone else all about it, and that person went straight to Reddit and posted pretty much the entire story, at least the main parts. And that's exactly what I'll be breaking down in this video. I put together a list of all those leaked details, and we're gonna compare them with the trailer, and dude, everything matches up perfectly. One important thing to note, just like the first movie, this sequel will tell a new, original story. It does include elements from the games, but it's definitely taking its own path. So yeah, if you don't mind spoilers, let's dive in. The tournament. As the ending of the first movie hinted, Mortal Kombat 2 will finally show the actual Mortal Kombat tournament, bringing several cool fatalities that reference the classic games. This lines up with the trailer, since we see Raiden and Sonya going after Johnny Cage to bring him into the tournament, and that's where things get interesting. At the end of the first movie, it was Cole Young who was supposed to recruit the actor, right? So does that mean Cole Young might die at the very beginning of the film, and that's why he's no longer the one doing the recruiting? Well, we'll see, right? Classic arenas. According to the leaks, some classic arenas and traps will appear in the movie. Pure nostalgia for longtime fans. Among them are the acid pool, a stage with spikes on the floor, and even the Nether Realm. The trailer confirms all that, showing scenes set in the Nether Realm and a fight between Scorpion and Noob Saibot. We can also spot several other iconic stages from the games. The portal appears in a scene where Kung Lao is revived and Liu Kang is getting ready to throw down. In another scene, we can see what looks like a Tarkatan village, where Johnny faces off against Baraka. And maybe I'm reading too much into this, but in the scene where Kitana and Jade fight, it really looks like the Living Forest, man. Or maybe the Outworld Jungle from Mortal Kombat X. Either way, I'm betting it's one of those two. Kano is back, and on the hero's side. So this is where things get controversial. According to the leak, Kano will come back to life, but unlike Kung Lao, who was revived by Quan Chi and acts as a villain, Kano apparently stays on the fence and ends up helping the heroes. This came from the leaked fight descriptions, which mentioned him battling Noob Saibot alongside Johnny Cage, Jade, and Scorpion. And remember, this leak is from over a year ago, okay? And it's now 100% confirmed in the trailer, since we see several scenes showing him alive again and consistently standing with the heroes, with Sonya, Liu Kang, and Johnny Cage. On top of that, in the final scene of the trailer, where does he show up? In the Netherrealm, fighting Noob Saibot right next to Johnny himself. Corrupted Kung Lao. The leak also claimed that Kung Lao would return from the dead, resurrected by the necromancer Quan Chi, and used as a pawn by the Emperor, becoming a serious threat to Raiden's warriors. He's basically a corrupted version of himself, a revenant. That's also been confirmed, since an official poster shows Kung Lao with the signature revenant facial markings. The trailer itself also shows a pre-fight moment between him and Liu Kang in what looks like the portal arena. Absolutely insane. Seriously, I'm excited to see this. Cole Young dies early. One piece of info that's been going around and celebrated by about 99% of the fans is that Cole Young, the original character created exclusively for the 2021 movie and its main protagonist, will die at the very beginning of the story. That'll make room for Johnny Cage and Kitana to take over as the leads this time. The trailer doesn't directly confirm his death, but it's definitely suspicious how little Cole shows up, especially for a guy who was the main character in the first film. Honestly, he only appears in maybe 2 or 3 super quick shots. The rest of the trailer focuses on Cage, Kitana, and Shao Kahn. From the looks of it, Cole's going down within the first 20 minutes. And honestly, I'm totally fine with that. I'm rooting for it, actually. Shao Kahn takes the spotlight. If there's one annoying thing about these types of movies, it's when they waste a great villain. But it looks like Mortal Kombat 2 won't make that mistake, and that's awesome. The leak said that Shao Kahn would be a powerful, terrifying villain with a personality that's extremely faithful to how he is in the games, and that he'd have a much bigger presence in the plot, unlike Shang Tsung in the previous movie. It also mentioned that Kahn would have intense action scenes, and that his backstory including his conquest of Edenia, would be shown on screen. And the trailer confirms all of that, man. No doubt about it. The dude looks incredible.
We see scenes of him conquering Edenia and killing King Jade, along with glimpses of some fights that look incredibly well executed. Man, Shao Kahn is on fire.
Johnny Cage as the protagonist. Alright, let's talk about it. The year-old leak already revealed one big positive about the sequel. Karl Urban as Johnny Cage. He and Kitana are supposed to share the spotlight in this follow-up, with both getting solid character development and some amazing action scenes. There's one downside though. According to the leaks, we won't see Johnny Cage's iconic nut punch in the movie. Yeah, that's a bummer. Everyone was waiting for that one. We all know the modern version of Johnny Cage, funny, cocky, full of personality, but the leaks and some rumors suggest that Karl Urban might be a bit too old for the role. Just sparked a few complaints. Personally, I don't really see it as a big deal, but fair enough. Another cool detail, Johnny will have his green powers in the movie. The explanation comes from the Arcana concept introduced in the first film, that mystical force that grants powers to normal humans. Apparently, the whole Arcana thing will only be used briefly this time, mainly just to justify Johnny's powers. And honestly, thank God for that. Trailer makes it very clear. Johnny is the protagonist. It's obvious. He's the most famous actor in the cast, and he's front and center throughout the trailer. The story will be told from his perspective, and we get tons of awesome fight scenes. Seriously, it looks great. The movie seems to show an older Johnny Cage, similar to his version in Mortal Kombat 11, semi-retired action movie star, remembered mostly by old fans, who gets recruited by none other than Raiden, the God of Thunder, to fight in the tournament. The trailer doesn't show his green powers in action yet, but that's probably intentional, something they're saving for the movie. There's even a funny line where Kano mocks Johnny for not having any superpowers.
Kitana as a co-protagonist. According to the leaks, Kitana is the princess of Outworld, or possibly Edenia. It's still not totally clear, but it'll probably be Outworld. She's the adopted daughter of Shao Kahn, and her design is said to be extremely faithful to the games, with plenty of classic details. Another interesting detail, during the test screenings, audiences loved her character, and actress Adeline Rudolph's performance was even highlighted as one of the film's strongest points. The trailer gives her a lot of attention too. She appears in several fight scenes with a classic and beautifully crafted look. Seriously, she looks amazing, and since it seems like Cole Young dies early, it's very likely that Kitana will take on a bigger role in the story. It makes perfect sense, especially because her arc is directly tied to Emperor Shao Kahn. A touch of vengeance would fit her storyline perfectly. And honestly, I think that's exactly what we're gonna get.
Liu Kang dies early. Check this out. According to the leaks, it's not just Cole Young who's going to die at the beginning of the story. Liu Kang will also be killed early on, both at the hands of Emperor Shao Kahn. Apparently, the deaths of these two characters will be the main motivation for their friends to seek revenge. The leak claims that these deaths exist specifically to show the power, brutality, and danger that Shao Kahn represents in the story. The trailer shows very little of Cole Young, we already talked about that, but Liu Kang gets a bit more focus, including a confrontation against his cousin Kung Lao, now corrupted. From the looks of it, Liu Kang will still appear in a few moments fighting Kung Lao and other henchmen, only for Shao Kahn to destroy him within the first minutes of the movie. Honestly, it's a shame what they're doing with Liu Kang. He's the protagonist of the franchise in most of the games. He was underused in the first movie, and now he's probably going to die right away in the second. If he had been the protagonist of the first movie and then actually died early in the second, the impact would have been completely different. We'd feel much more anger toward the villain and root way harder for revenge. But as it is, whatever. Liu Kang barely showed up, so his death might not carry that much weight in the plot. According to the leak, he's going to die. But if that really happens, it would be awesome if he came back in the third movie as a badass zombie, just like in Mortal Kombat Deception. That would be absolutely epic.
Scorpion and Sub-Zero. The leaks say that unlike the first film, where we saw Scorpion and Sub-Zero's backstory and the reason for their rivalry, that relationship won't be explored much in the sequel, unfortunately. Scorpion's role will be short, similar to what we saw before. He'll make a few brief appearances throughout the story, with a slightly bigger one one near the end, likely helping out in the final battle of the third act. Sub-Zero, on the other hand, won't appear as the classic Blue Ninja. Instead, he'll return as a specter from the Netherrealm, wearing a darker, almost black version of his original costume and taking on his new name, Noob Saibot. The leaks also mentioned that Noob Saibot will use a shadow clone to assist him in combat, a nice callback to the games, especially Mortal Kombat 11. And the trailer confirms all of that. We see only a few scenes of Scorpion, all set in the Netherrealm, and Noob Saibot looks exactly like his MK11 version, using his shadow clone in fights. It looks awesome, but it's kind of disappointing that we apparently won't have a true Sub-Zero in this movie. In the games, Bihan's younger brother takes on the mantle after him, but here it seems we'll only have Noob Saibot, leaving the Sub-Zero title open for someone else to claim later. Would it be too much to ask for a post-credit scene showing Bihan's younger brother discovering his sibling's alternate armor? That would be epic.
Jade controversy. The leaks said that Jade would be a powerful and dangerous character, acting as a villain, at least at first. The leaker also hinted that she might be a divisive character among fans, though it wasn't clear whether that was because of her personality, weak writing, or some kind of moral twist. The trailer partially confirms that. Jade appears in some cool scenes, fighting Jax, wielding her iconic staff in the Netherrealm, and going head-to-head with Kitana. One detail that's already caused controversy even before the film's release is her shaved head. That change has definitely split fan opinions. Characters with minor roles. The leak suggested that several characters would only have brief appearances, and the trailer seems to back that up, showing some of them very little or not at all. Shang Tsung. Despite being the main villain in the first movie, his role here is small and shallow. He doesn't even appear in the trailer. Baraka. He'll have about 6 to 10 minutes of screen time, featuring a few fights where he uses his blades and savage look. The CGI is noticeable, especially around his mouth movements. He fights Johnny Cage in some action scenes, but the design didn't completely please fans. Raiden. Just like in the first movie, his screen time is short. He appears briefly, consulting the Elder Gods and recruiting Johnny Cage. Quan Chi. The Netherrealm sorcerer will have a short appearance as well, acting more as a messenger for a greater threat, possibly Shinnok. He doesn't have any fight scenes, but he's responsible for resurrecting the corrupted Kung Lao. Quan Chi doesn't show up in the trailer either. Sindel. To wrap things up, the leaks say that Sindel, the former queen of Outworld or Edenia, will have a noticeable presence, apparently under the control or influence of Emperor Shao Kahn. That connection will be one of the main reasons Kitana is fighting against the Emperor. Sindel's look will be based on her more recent video game appearances, mixing in classic elements, and she'll use several fatalities throughout the film. She'll fight Sonya Blade, but ultimately, Sonya will defeat her. And yes, another rumor confirmed by the trailer. We get a quick shot of her fighting, and who is she fighting? Sonya Blade, of course. Her appearance looks very similar to her designs from MK9, MK11, and MK1, and honestly, it looks fantastic. That's it. Thanks for watching.